Hey everybody, so today's day 8 and I'm doing a little bit of running around with my hubby. Say hi, Todd.
Hi.
And I had a thought this morning. Some things have been percolating in my head over the last couple of days, and I thought that would be a fun thing to talk about on my video today. So these videos are all about the walking the walk, and as I have thoughts and learn things as I'm doing that, I'm just sharing them. That's what all this is about. So one of the things that I was having a conversation with Elizabeth yesterday around food, and she is a chapter ahead of me in the food stuff, and while I have learned I lost 50 pounds and have kept it off for a year, I want to lose more, and I'm working on that, and we're working on that using whole foods right now, because that's something that I teach my clients, and I want to do that. I've used a program for the 50 pounds that was really simple and easy, and I didn't have to think about, but I really want to have the experience of doing it with whole food, because I know that there's people out there that want to do it with whole food and don't want to use a food program. So whichever where you're at, I need to have the experience to do that. Elizabeth has that experience, and she's teaching me and helping guide me on that, and so that's where I'm at right now. And in my head, I was a little wrapped around the axles yesterday around the food and what to eat. I mean, that's the big thing with the whole food, right? If somebody just hands you stuff and you eat it and it works and you lose weight, that's really awesome. But when you're done with that and back to whole foods, how do you maintain that? And that's one of the things I've been helping people do that. I've maintained my weight. It hasn't been a problem. But can I lose weight just using the word of wisdom? Can I lose weight eating whole foods? And that's what this is all about, that we're talking about. Elizabeth has done it, and I'm working on it and learning more things. So yesterday I was wrapped around the axles about, like, what can I eat or what can't I eat, or I'm never going to be able to eat again, and I was really struggling. And Elizabeth made the comment, she says, you're too concerned about being perfect. And I thought, okay, yeah, but we had an earlier conversation when I was talking about feeling a little bloated because of something I'd eaten that wasn't necessarily exactly perfect, and I was like, okay, but if I'm not perfect, it doesn't work, so I've got to be perfect. So like I'm spinning in this cycle. And I was processing that this morning with my husband, and I had this epiphany. So one of the things that I did this weekend on the range was working on something we call pinning the trigger, and it's something that keeps me from going faster when I'm shooting, that I can't shoot fast if I'm pinning the trigger. And you don't need to know what pinning the trigger means, just the fact that it's a challenge and a habit that I have that was causing me not to be able to go where I wanted to go. And for 2 years, I have been working on breaking that habit, and I've talked to a lot of instructors about it, and they're all like, just stop. Kind of like people say, just stop eating sweets, just stop eating processed food, just stop, right? And you're like, and do what? Right? So this is where my head was with the food thing, and do what? And this morning, I had this epiphany. When I worked on the range with David Malio with pinning the trigger and breaking that habit, he walked me through it, and one of the things was, first, I trusted him. And so at first I had an instructor that I trusted who was willing to spend time and effort with me to walk me through it. And because I trusted him and I just did what he told me to do, I made mistakes. I wasn't perfect. As I was learning it, about a day and a half into the 3 days, suddenly something clicked, and it was like, oh. But in the process of that day and a half, I'd had glimpses where I was like, oh yeah, and then I would go back to pinning the trigger, and then I would say, oh yeah, and I'd go back to and I had to think about it. And sometimes I would have a double tap and I'd have a high shot, and it wasn't pretty, and it didn't look great, and my score wasn't perfect downrange, but I was learning a new skill. And I was thinking about this morning, and I realized that applies to this food thing. I'm learning something. I have a coach who has done it, who's teaching me and walking me through this, and I trust her. And if I do what she tells me to do, and I keep walking through it, It's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be perfect. But as I do the process, at some point I'm going to go, oh yeah! And it's going to become second nature. But I'm going to have fits and starts. The target down range isn't necessarily going to look perfect in the learning process. So if you're trying to cut your clutter, whether it's clutter in your house, clutter in your mind, clutter on your body, we're here to help you with those different things, walk through it with you, teach you what we know. We're a chapter ahead, and if you trust us, we can help you get there. But it's a process. It won't happen overnight, but it's going to be fantastic and so worth it. So join me on this trip. Hit subscribe. Come like us on the Mormon Minimalists on Facebook and join the conversation. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.